Hey, Art of Transliness. This is TJ here. I know it's not Friday, but I'm actually posting for both week 5 and week 6 today, so I'm kind of posting in the middle, sort of my two Fridays. Um, I've been moving, so I haven't had the chance to create videos, and actually, I can't find my camera still. I haven't finished unpacking, and won't be around on Friday, so I decided to make it today and combine the two topics. Um, Instead of having two late videos later. So the topic from last week was sex and dysphoria, and then the topic this week is body image, which I actually feel are, at least for me, very um, closely interrelated, and you'll understand why as I start talking about it. Um, like some of the other guys, I also decided to make some notes today just so my thoughts are coherent and I stay kind of succinct. Um, so on the topic of dysphoria, before even introducing the sex piece in it, I I wouldn't say that I've ever really experienced dysphoria. Um, More so, at least not in any sort of like consistent way. It's I would describe it more as selective disconnection with my body in certain ways, in certain contexts, at certain times, certain parts of them. And it's mostly been in a visual way. For example, if I were to um, come out of the shower pre top surgery and see myself in the mirror, I would do a double take. Um, so it wasn't really a these are weird. I'm dysphoric about what I was seeing, but I was confused about what I was seeing. Um, I in my head they just weren't there. So each time I would see them in the mirror, um, it just would it would surprise me, and I would just double take again. So it's that kind of a visual disconnection, not necessarily a dysphoria or a disgust at them. Um, I never really was disgusted by any assigned femaleness to my body per se, if that makes sense. But bringing sex into the picture, so because any sort of disconnection with my body that I had um, was more visual, it didn't really come into play when it came to intimacy with sexual partners. Um, and I enjoyed and still very much enjoy sex and my body and different ways that it functions, and um, different interpretations of femaleness, non-femaleness, maleness, etc., that come into play don't really affect it. I think, obviously, for some of my partners who are maybe conscious of the fact that they're um, engaging in intimacy with a trans man, they're more likely to ask and kind of want to know if they're doing things okay, and what is okay and what isn't okay. And for the most part, that has more so dependent on um, who my sexual partner has been, um, and what is our physical kind of connection, how we click physically, what we like and don't like, and what seems to work, and um, how how physical intimacy relates or doesn't relate to any sort of romantic intimacy. So all of these have more so impacted what my sexual life looks like, rather than how I feel about my body or don't feel about my body. So depending on my partner, it's been really really different. Um, Other than that, I would say body image actually, segueing into that, impacts it a little bit more. Not that much more, but a little bit. Um, at different points of my life, I've been self-conscious about various aspects of my body, and for me, that's how I see my sort of body image issues. It's more of a self-consciousness about them, rather than really having strong, um, intense body image incongruencies or something like that. Um, Growing up, it was mostly around being skinny and small in stature, not necessarily about height, at least growing up. Um, it was really about being skinny. I really hated being skinny. I used to, I ate a lot, especially for someone my size. People wouldn't really expect that. I ate as much as I did, but I did, but I would never really gain weight, and it would really, really bother me. I didn't like the way I looked, based on how skinny I was, especially how my face looked. It just kind of looked skeletal, and I really, really disliked it. And so now, after being on testosterone for a little over 2 years now, a lot of that is not an issue anymore. The testosterone has helped broaden my shoulders, so I feel kind of bigger in stature. Um, Broadened some muscle area, increased the size of my legs, um, shifted around my ab and stomach area, to a point where I actually have a belly, um, and filled out my face. Like especially in terms of my facial structure, I really like what T has done. So skinny and small isn't necessarily as much of an issue, and height plays a little bit more of a part now. But again, not necessarily in the sense of like I have an issue with my height. Um, I'm 5'2", which generally short guy, short person for that matter. Um, and I actually kind of like being 5'2". In my head, I'm taller and I'm bigger. Um, so sometimes when there is a taller person that stands next to me, and I see us in a mirror or in a reflection, it sort of surprises me. But whatever, I'm not about to change that. But it's more about a couple of things. Because in my head I'm taller and bigger, I'll try to interact with or flirt with people I'm attracted to who are maybe significantly even taller, and who might think of my short stature as really not attractive. So I don't get anywhere. Um, but on the more serious side, I think my height, in combination with the fact that I look younger, just adds to people not taking me seriously. Um, I'm often seen when I'm at work. I work on a college campus. I'm often seen as probably a student, maybe a first year student. So um, I, things that I often do doesn't automatically click in people's minds as coming from maybe a staff person or someone with some level of authority, um, which is frustrating after a long while. And being asked, what classes I'm taking and what major I am and what class I'm in and all that kind of stuff gets annoying after a while. Um, Especially when you've got like this name tag on that clearly states that you're a staff member. But anyway, that's just silly stuff. Um, and I think it's more like an annoyance now about clothing, finding smalls and extra smalls that actually fit, or pants that actually fit. It's more of that kind of stuff that's annoying, not necessarily a body image issue. Um, so I guess overall, I mean, generally I like my body. I've had the privilege and um, great fortune in being surrounded and having access to people who tend to be affirming of all kinds of body types, talk about bodies in very healthy ways, um, very affirming ways, and I myself feel like I am attracted to a variety of body types. So you know, that kind of mindset has always helped me in maintaining a healthy body image about myself. So even when I do feel kind of self-conscious or annoyed by certain things, it kind of disappears after a little bit. Like it's just momentary, and I'm able to kind of process through that and move on, which is fantastic and great, and I love that. Um, I think if there's there was one point where I was kind of like self-conscious about my head hair when I started noticing that like it was kind of you know receding and stuff like that. I started becoming really, really self-conscious about it. But that's kind of disappeared too. I think you know linking it back to the whole not being taken seriously thing, it sometimes helps if people notice it enough when I have my hair cut short. Um, for it to click in people's minds that maybe he's actually older than 18. Um, so I actually kind of like it. I feel like it adds some maturity for me. And so the only place that I feel like I still harbor enough self consciousness to kind of think about it more so than other things is actually my body hair. Um, I really enjoy having body hair. I like it. Um, I think it's for me like as much a maleness thing, and a transition like success achievement, coolness, rite of passage thing as it is a cultural thing. Being Middle Eastern, Middle Eastern men are hairy people, so it just it's kind of like a physical connection to other Middle Eastern men for me. Um, but I think what the part of it that I'm a little self conscious about is, because I've only become this hairy as I am in the last year or so, and I haven't necessarily been intimate with anyone in that period of time. I'm kind of self conscious about what a potential sexual partner might feel about it, how they would react to it, what they would, if they would like it, be disgusted by it, not like. So it's more of that thought process and how that would play into sexual intimacy, and if it would make me uncomfortable in some way with sex, which I really don't want to be. Um, so it's more of that, and particularly because I tend to be attracted to, and tend to be sexually intimate with queer identified women. Um, so sometimes like the body hair for me in my head, it's kind of like a very strong reminder that you know there's a male energy, male presence in this uh, intercourse. um, so it's more of a like, is it gonna trigger something in that person, and make them feel weird about their queerness and about their identity, about being with me. um, Obviously what queer means to different people is different. How that gets interpreted is different, but it's just because I haven't really experienced it yet. I'm a little self-conscious about it, so we'll see how that goes. And that's definitely something that I might update about later. Um, anyway, thanks, folks, for letting me, like, you had a choice to do this. And I'm sorry that I'm recording directly from my laptop. I know these videos suck when they are this way, but hopefully it works. All right, take care.